And we're back for another portfolio review. This one is for Jason. I noticed something when we initially loaded this. Man, that's a weird effect. It's like your CSS, your fonts are getting applied late. That's jarring. I would fix that. I don't know what's happening with that, but I would look into it. Like how you fade this out a little bit. So these buttons are pretty, I mean, they're large, but usually transparent. I think transparent background buttons are really good as secondary buttons. It takes the focus off of your primary content, your other primary button. I don't know if these matter here. I guess. I think what would be more important is your portfolio. There's, you know, it'd be maybe like these are tiny little buttons in the top right or something like that, and then you have like an arrow that'll bring you down to the port. Oh, nope, goes to the About Me instead. Okay. Name is Jason. I'm a front-end developer. First of all, I like how simple this is. I mean, you would always get away with a little more copy, creative writing, depending on like what kind of message you're trying to deliver, your audience for your portfolio, but I think it's always a safe bet to keep it simple. This is who you are. Contrast is a little rough against this. Dark blue against black. And then I'm a front-end developer. And then basically the value you bring. So I like how simple it is. And then links are huge. I'm bringing a lot of, everything's just huge. Well, I know my vision is going, so I appreciate being able to read all of this. Let's move on. About me, left align this. Why does everything have to, it's so hard to read this. It's just a big block of text. And you're not the only one. I'm not picking on you. I think like people will just do like 1 or 2 lines, and then they'll do like 5 paragraphs of 1 or 2 lines, and I think you can kind of get away with it if it's like a really simple sentence, and then a creative sentence, a funny sentence about you, a really touching or passionate sentence. You know, like if you kept this text a little bit less, like if you trim this, I think you can get away with like line, paragraph, line, paragraph, line. That's kind of a creative way to have a little bit more of an impact with your About Me, because it's going to have more of a chance to be read. I'm kind of just going past this. I don't want to read this yet, right? I don't know what you can do. So there are going to be a few companies that will care about your personality, and that About Me will be more important. But more often than not, people want to see your portfolio. You need to deliver that faster to them. I'm just not a huge fan of putting, unless it's a really creative About Me, it's simple, it's right to the point. I'm not a huge fan of About Me's trumping your portfolio in priority. And right now it is. Express.js, but, okay. That's, what? What, is there not an icon for Express.js? Why does this take, you're telling me this is the biggest achievement out of your stack? Like you have the most experience in Express? Like that's kind of what this is saying. This has a lot of emphasis over these icons. It's unique, right? It's not one of the many. It's unique. So why does this get emphasis? Okay. Oh, we still haven't gotten to the portfolio yet. I like that. I liked how that bounced in. That was kind of caught my, well, did it though? Oh, all of this bounces in. Oh my god, that bounce. That is huge. It almost looked broken. What? Hold on, one more time. Oh, okay, all of this just... Okay. Man, everything's like thrown in your face. I don't know how I feel about that. RSVP. This is an RSVP app. You can add a guest. Period. Like, just focus on your grammar a little bit. Capital Y, you can add a guest. Semicolon, edit the guest. Semicolon, remove the guest. Semicolon, and confirm them. You can use commas, I guess. As well, you can filter the guests that have not confirmed they are attending. Okay. Okay, so you get straight to the point about what this can do. I like it. You have a live link. You have a GitHub repo. You have the stack. This game. Okay, I can understand it being desktop, and then this is responsive. Okay. I like how you have the live link with the GitHub repo. I think that's a minimum with a tiny bit of context around it. It is created using JavaScript. Cool. Okay, so these are creative little front-end games. Okay, Mars Rover API. For the Mars Curiosity rover. It gathers photos and displays them. Photo gallery, you can hover over each photo to see a description and download link. Okay. You seem to like manipulating the DOM and JavaScript and animations, so I think what I would like to see potentially, so I think you mentioned React, right? Yeah, React was part of your stack. So what I would do, I think what this portfolio needs is a more complex project. I think these are really good starter projects. And I wouldn't take them off your portfolio, but I think what I would work on is if you like animations and you like connecting to APIs, why not like make a data visualization app? Something that in a creative way displays useful, relevant information for an industry you're really interested in. Because I think you need to start looking for more complexity if you're going to go, like, you seem interested in animations and games and like apps and websites that are going to really try to engage the user. And I think there are more complex projects that you can put in your portfolio that will really attract employers that might use animations, that might use data visualizations, that might kind of like, a lot of their apps can be relatable to what you do. I think you just need a little bit more complexity in your portfolio projects. And then right to the point, contact me. I like this. It's a mail too. I don't think these need to be spread out like this. I don't think that's effective at all. Jason Pallone icons by... Why doesn't your email do that? Like, this has more priority just with the effect that it's doing. Even if it's shrinking, like, I think you're giving this more priority than contacting you via email. Is that really what you want? Home, about, portfolio, contacts. Okay. Man, that drop shadow is really... I think it wasn't even the animations when I refreshed. I think it was... No, it might... Ooh, that's a big animation. No, it's partly the animations that are like kind of jarring. Subtle anime... I think subtle is better when it comes to animating in entire blocks of content. But I think that it's a huge drop shadow. Is there... I don't think it's a drop shadow so much. I think it's the animations that are just too much. All right, so let's check out mobile. All right, Jason. Let's go ahead and refresh, just for the heck of it. Man, I don't know if they should take that long to... Man, that takes a long time to load. I don't have a slow connection either. I don't know if it's the delay in animation or... Look at that. Mars Rover API GIF. Is that what's delaying this? Photo gallery. Man, these are big. You need to look up like tiny PNG, tiny, I think like tiny GIF, tiny JPG, tiny JPEG. There's a website I use for basically all types of images that I'm probably going to upload, and you need to condense these. Like, you don't need 2 megabyte file. That's a GIF? Oh. Okay. I'm out of my mind right now. I still think you can reduce this. These are big files to be loading on your main page. These are really big files. I would try to see if you can condense this a bit. No, yeah, everything else, well, these were icons. You probably did try to condense it. It's probably a long GIF. Anyways, let's move down. I still don't think these buttons are as relevant as you're making them. Wait, that was kind of a weird effect. Hold on. Really? I should see content by now. You need to trigger that animation sooner. I think seeing that giant white space of content, I don't think that's effective. You're either triggering your animation too soon, or I mean too late, or I don't know. About me, my stack. It looks just like your portfolio. I would break it up. Can you have like maybe 100% width thing here? Does everything need to be a card? This feels like, so cards in my opinion this feels like a card, and cards are typically clickable. I think I would explore kind of like a variety of ways to deliver your content as you're scrolling down. So I think you're very creative with animations, but you're animating the same containers, the same looking containers, same consistent containers all the way down. You're just doing different animations for them. I would look at how some portfolios break up. Like, this could be like 100% width, and the icons could extend you could do creative things with the icons, but they wouldn't be trapped in this tiny little box. They'd be able to breathe a little bit more and extend all the way across. I think making all of this just broken up by cards, man, it takes a little while to show these animations. Yeah, I don't know. I would experiment. I think you do a little bit more than just these cards. And then, okay, so it kind of, was that halfway? It took halfway, or what? Okay, gotcha. So maybe, is that a third, or is that a fourth? That's a fourth, right? Fourth of the way down, it loads the animation. I think that potentially is okay. You have the buttons. I mean, the contrast is really good. I don't know why people are into these super circular buttons. With the giant drop shadow, I think this drop shadow is completely enough. So the reason why I didn't just flat out say I didn't like the drop shadow and then stick with that was because, like, you're lifting the content up a little bit. It kind of makes it stand out, but I think you're trying to just use drop shadow to put focus on things when you can use more subtle cues. Like, first, like, I would have done like a 5 pixel border on each corner and a very subtle drop shadow, if any. And you got to think about, like, what's probably the more important button? Do these two links both have the same priority? Yeah, and that's where you need to know your audience. Who's going to be looking at this portfolio? And I would kind of look at primary and secondary buttons and look at how to make them different, and look at how to, just with CSS, like how to style them to provide emphasis on one or the other depending on the context of the content and the audience looking at it. I just think You haven't really decided what's important, so you're kind of just throwing everything on your portfolio. I think you need to really think about who's looking at this website, and it's probably going to be cold applications, so it's probably employers that have already seen your resume. They probably have some information about you, right? Do they really need to look at your resume? Probably not. Your GitHub, that's probably it better be on your resume. So is this really relevant? No. This is a little bit more relevant once you've kind of sold them a little bit with that they see, okay, they at least have the minimum technical requirements. Yeah, but then you got to decide, what do employers really want to see? In my opinion, they want to see live demos. It's going to depend. I mean, HR typically is going to want to see the portfolio, I think this is true for almost all people, but tech people on the team, leadership on tech teams, they're eventually going to want to see your GitHub, but I still think the live demo is going to be more important. I think that's your primary button. This is your secondary. So look into that. Contact me. Okay, I kind of like this. I never really seen a bottom border for. Man, this is kind of subtle. I like this, the way you divided this footer. You might even consider making it tiny, this slightly gray, barely noticeable, just to really put emphasis on the division of your content. But I mean, this is enough. This really is enough. It's subtle. Bring these together. I mean, they're not that far apart, but they might be hard to click. 4 buttons all in a row, and they're tiny, and you have tons of space in between. They're kind of hard to click on mobile. Keep that in mind. Why did you make this white? There's no border. You can't really. Maybe kind of like you did here. I wonder if you could do a more subtle line here. It doesn't even have to extend all the way across. You just need even if it's what am I thinking? Typically where with iPhone you kind of get this little. Am I thinking iPhone? No, it might make it seem like it's draggable, but you get this little notch or something like that kind of divides the content. I'm just rambling. I don't know what I'm talking about, but what I'm trying to say is you could have even a tiny little line just to show where your navigation ends and the content begins if you're going to have this sticky like this. I think you could do more with this. I think you fall short with these 2 buttons. I honestly do. I'm not saying you should not have these on here. I just don't think, this is right when they enter your page. I don't think these are the most relevant things. Unless you have a blog that's bringing tons of traffic here, this feels like a cold application portfolio, and I think your portfolio projects are going to shine more than anything else. So I don't think these are relevant right here. Maybe in the footer. Footer would be a good place. I mean, you have your GitHub, right? You have your GitHub on the projects. But anyways, I think, I feel like you kind of have a knack for an interest in animations in general. And I think you should explore that. I think you can create some really interesting front-end projects with that. And I would definitely explore that more. I think that's going to make your portfolio shine. It's going to create more complex projects potentially. But look up React and animations with React and look at different examples of different websites. It's not even the idea the app needs to be complex. I think you could really get away with just showing really good animations if that's the route you want to go. But that's kind of just a gut feeling with where you're going with it. If not, if I'm totally off, then you do you. But that's kind of just my gut feeling with that. Anyways, I think that's about it. Awesome job, Jason. Best of luck.